It's just amazing to me that a movie that earns in its opening weekend $500 million can still be considered a failure, and it says something to the fact of why are we making movies that need to earn $2 billion to profit?
Let's get into it. We've been talking about this for a while. Let's go.
A freaking IKEA chair.
So Avatar, The Way of Water has been out less than a week. Today is Wednesday. Movie's been out for, less than a week. It's only made over $500 million total worldwide gross, 25% on the way to 2 billion. And people are calling it dead. It's just dead. It's dead. Even though it made almost twice in the US domestic gross of the first movie. Okay, ticket prices were different. So adjust for inflation. Fine. Let's call it even. Made the same amount. Let's call it even. I'll give that to you. It made the same money as the first Avatar the first weekend. This movie's going to have legs, despite the fact that you've got holiday weekends. You've got a Christmas and New Year's fall on a weekend. I don't care. This is a family movie, and there's literally, other than Puss in Boots, which opens this upcoming weekend, there are no films for families that are out there. But I do think it's a weird thing of like calling the movie dead on arrival because it so-called underperformed based on estimates. When you actually dig into the numbers, what it did is it underperformed in movie theaters that were not premium, where it overperformed nearly, and go ahead, look at your apps, look at, at least in Southern California, and I went and saw it again on the east side. So I saw on the east side of LA in Montclair, and those screenings were all packed, and it's all premium format. It's either Dolby Digital or IMAX 3D, all of that. People want to see this movie that way. They don't want to see it in a regular theater. This is an experience, and they'll pay the premium pricing to see it in there. And the other theaters, people aren't going. I even checked. I look, what's a regular theater? And it's spotty. It is spotty. Mm-hmm. People want that. If they're going to see Avatar Way of Water, they want to see it in a premium format. I think that
I should mention that the ticket sales surged yesterday, Tuesday, because it's discount Tuesdays. People were waiting until Tuesday to go to the premium theater and pay a discount.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting news. All I'm saying is, like, James Cameron is history. His movies tend to have legs. They do well the first weekend, and they do well the second weekend, and they do well the third weekend, and they do well the fourth weekend, and they do well the fifth weekend. There's a theme here. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is, if you look at previous history, look at the original Avatar, look at Titanic, look at both of those films. That Titanic was for 6 months. It was it was number one. And I think it was knocked out of the box office a couple times from number one, because I remember I was like we had at the time Film Threat. We kind of retired that we were rebuilding the website. We did an email newsletter, and the email newsletter came out on Sundays. We just added the box office numbers. I remember being kind of shocked, like, why is Titanic always like number one? It's a phenomenon I've never seen. Now, I'm not telling you Way of Water is going to be number one for 6 months, but I'm telling you there's nothing that can beat it between now and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which opens in early February. So it effectively has the next nearly 6 weeks to itself. You've got a couple movies. I mean, Puss in Boots. You've got Megan, which actually looks kind of fun. Did you get invited to Megan, Alan?
Yes, I did. I'm not going.
Okay, I am gonna go.
Yes, please go.
You can see it. You can just see it that Thursday.
Yeah. Or I won't, maybe.
I'll see it.
You'll see it. I'm not going to see it. I have no desire to see Megan.
It looks funny. It looks funny. It's a killer doll movie. That's a staple in a genre unto itself. But I think that what I see is a major overreaction of people calling this movie DOA. It's just the first weekend. Never bet against James Cameron. Do you know why? He'll give you the finger. He'll give you the finger, that James Cameron. I don't know. He may have been giving the finger in jest. I don't know. I just know that, like, your movie's opening.
I'll that for a second. I think those were autograph hounds who were kind of going after him.
A little bit, yeah. And look, he's actually in the Attack of the Doc, the documentary about G4 TV and Attack of the Show. James Cameron's in the doc. It's pretty funny. I don't want to spoil it. but Avatar and James Cameron tie into. It's so weird how this documentary has all these things that like are still relevant, but Attack of the Show and G4 kind of covered this stuff in early days. It's very interesting. Anyways, I just say don't count out James Cameron, ignore the noise, and look. Also, if you don't like the movie, totally understand why you don't like it. It's basically it's a James Cameron. It's like all the James Cameron movies thrown into a blender. I get it. I think this movie is more for kids. I watched the original Avatar again just to kind of refresh my memory, and it's much more adult. That film, to the science fiction. What I'm hoping is that these movies, these upcoming movies, become more serious as they go. But if The Way of Water ends up making at least close to 2 billion, we're going to get 3 more of these movies. And these release dates, I actually double checked. Those are all on Google as well. So what do you think?
Yeah,
what do you think?
I'm bringing up Amanda Nowicki's comment here. Birds of Prey did 205 million overall. People didn't call it a flop. Avatar 3 does 500 million opening weekend, and it's called a flop. I mean, that's my point. Is I know a lot of filmmakers would kill to earn $500 million in its opening weekend, and it's only until you throw in the overall costs that somehow taints it. I don't think you can objectively call Avatar a flop. I think ultimately you could call it a financial failure if it doesn't meet its goals. But that's a lot of money. That's a lot of people seeing this movie. You saw it 3 times. How can you call it a flop?